What if I told you that Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Oprah Winfrey all share one secret weapon that transformed their lives? What if I revealed that this secret isn't some exclusive mastermind group or insider trading tip, but rather a simple book that anyone can access? Today, I'm revealing the book that sold 40 million copies worldwide, has been translated into 40 languages, and contains the exact blueprint for personal and professional success that has changed millions of lives across the globe. Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People isn't just a book. It's a complete life transformation system that has been tested by decades of real-world application. In the next 2 hours, you'll discover the 7 habits that can revolutionize your relationships, skyrocket your career, and fundamentally transform your personal growth trajectory. But here's the deal. You need to commit to watching this entire video and implementing these habits, because knowledge without action is absolutely worthless. Let me be brutally honest with you for a moment. Most self-help content you consume is complete garbage. It's filled with motivational fluff, temporary highs, and surface-level advice that makes you feel good for about 5 minutes before you return to your old patterns. This video is different. What you're about to learn isn't theory, it's not wishful thinking, and it's certainly not another get-rich-quick scheme. These are scientifically backed, time-tested principles that have been proven to work across cultures, industries, and generations. Stephen Covey wasn't born successful. He was a simple teacher who became one of the most influential thought leaders by studying thousands of successful people for over 30 years. He analyzed everyone from ancient philosophers to modern CEOs, from spiritual leaders to business moguls. What he discovered was groundbreaking. True success comes from character, not personality. Most people focus on quick fixes, communication techniques, and surface-level changes. But lasting success requires fundamental character transformation. Covey identified that success literature shifted from character ethic, which includes integrity, courage, and justice, to personality ethic, which focuses on image, attitude, and techniques. The problem? Personality changes are temporary. Character changes are permanent. This book teaches you to change from the inside out, not outside in. The foundation, paradigm shifts, and inside-out approach. Before diving into the habits, you must understand paradigm shifts, because without this foundational concept, everything else will fall apart. A paradigm is essentially the lens through which you view the world. It's your mental model of reality, your assumptions about how things work, and your beliefs about what's possible. Most people never question their paradigms. They just accept them as absolute truth. But here's the thing. Your paradigms determine your behavior, and your behavior determines your results. Change your paradigms, and you literally change your life. Imagine you're on a subway and a man enters with noisy, disruptive children. You're annoyed, thinking about how inconsiderate this father is, how poorly he's parenting, and how he should control his kids. Your blood pressure rises, and you're ready to say something. Then he sits down next to you and says, "Sorry about the noise. We just came from the hospital where their mother died an hour ago. I don't know how to handle this, and I guess they don't either." Instantly, your anger transforms into compassion. Your irritation becomes empathy. Your judgment becomes understanding. Same situation, different perspective, completely different response. This is a paradigm shift. Changing how you see reality changes how you respond to it. The problem is that most people try to change their circumstances, other people, or external factors. They believe that if they could just get a better job, find the right partner, move to a different city, or have more money, then they would be happy and successful. This outside-in approach fails every single time because you can't control external factors. You can't control the economy, you can't control other people's behavior, and you can't control unexpected events. The inside-out approach means changing yourself first, then everything else automatically changes. When you change your character, your perception changes. When your perception changes, your behavior changes. When your behavior changes, your results change. It's that simple, yet that profound. Most people try to change their techniques before they change their character. They try to manipulate their way to success instead of earning it through genuine transformation. Covey explains human development through 3 stages: dependence, where you take care of me; independence, where I take care of myself; and interdependence, where we take care of each other. Most people get stuck at independence, thinking it's the ultimate goal. They believe that self-reliance is the highest form of maturity. But real success happens at interdependence, working effectively with others through collaboration and synergy. The first three habits move you from dependence to independence, which is called private victory. You must win the private battle with yourself before you can win the public battle with others. The next three habits move you from independence to interdependence, which is called public victory. The seventh habit maintains and renews all others, ensuring continuous growth and improvement. Habit 1. Be proactive. Take control of your life. Being proactive is the foundation of all other habits. Without this habit, none of the others will work. It means taking responsibility for your life instead of blaming circumstances, other people, or conditions. Most people are reactive. They allow external circumstances to control their internal responses. They're like a ping-pong ball, bouncing around based on whatever hits them. Proactive people are like a gyroscope, maintaining their course, regardless of external turbulence. Reactive people use language like, "I can't do anything. That's just how I am. They make me angry. I have to do this. If only my boss understood me," or "My circumstances are preventing me from succeeding." Listen to how disempowering this language is. It places the control outside of yourself. Proactive people say, "I choose, I prefer, I will, I can, I control my response, and I am responsible for my results." The difference isn't just words. It's a fundamental shift in how you approach life. Covey introduces two circles that will revolutionize how you think about your problems. Circle of concern, which includes things you worry about but can't control, and circle of influence, which includes things you can actually control. Your circle of concern includes things like the weather, the economy, global politics, other people's behavior, your past, natural disasters, and market conditions. Your circle of influence includes your attitude, your effort, your responses, your choices, your habits, your words, your actions, and your character. Here's the key insight. Reactive people focus on their circle of concern. They spend their time and energy worrying about things they can't control. They complain about the weather, criticize the government, gossip about other people, and blame their circumstances. As a result, their circle of influence shrinks because they're not investing in areas where they have control. Proactive people focus on their circle of influence. They invest their time and energy in areas where they can make a difference. As a result, their circle of influence expands because they're developing their capabilities and building their character. Here's a practical example that will illustrate this perfectly. If you don't get promoted, the reactive response is, "There's politics in the office. My boss is unfair. They don't recognize talent. The system is rigged against me." Notice how this response places all the power outside of yourself. The proactive response is, "Let me analyze what skills I need to develop, how I can improve my performance, what value I can add to the organization, and how I can better communicate my contributions." This response places the power within yourself. For the next 30 days, I challenge you to use only proactive language. Instead of "I have to," say "I choose to." Instead of "I can't," say "I prefer not to." Instead of "That's just how I am," say "I can choose a different approach." When someone criticizes you, instead of getting defensive, say, "Thank you for the feedback. Let me think about it." This gives you control over the situation and transforms your mindset from victim to victor. You'll be amazed at how this simple change in language transforms your entire approach to life. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. Create your personal vision. This habit is about mental creation before physical creation. Everything worthwhile is created twice, first in your mind, then in reality. The carpenter visualizes the house before building it. The architect designs the blueprint before construction begins. The successful person envisions their future before living it. Most people live their lives by default, not by design. They react to whatever happens instead of creating what they want to happen. They let other people's agendas, society's expectations, and random circumstances determine their direction. This is like getting in a car and driving without knowing where you're going. You might end up somewhere, but it probably won't be where you want to be. Start with this powerful exercise that will literally change your perspective on life. Imagine you're attending your own funeral 3 years from now. 4 people will speak: a family member, a close friend, a work colleague, and a community member. What would you want them to say about you? What kind of person would you want them to remember? What contributions would you want them to highlight? What impact would you want them to describe? This exercise reveals what's truly important to you versus what you think should be important. It cuts through all the noise and gets to the core of your values. Most people are so busy climbing the ladder of success that they never stop to check if it's leaning against the right wall. They achieve their goals only to realize they were the wrong goals. They win the game only to discover they were playing the wrong game. Create a personal mission statement, your personal constitution that defines your values, principles, and long-term goals. This isn't some corporate buzzword exercise. This is about defining who you are at your core and what you stand for. Examples of powerful mission statements include: to live with integrity and inspire others through my actions; to be a loving parent who raises confident, capable children; to create value in business while maintaining ethical standards; or to use my talents to serve others and make a positive impact on the world. The creation process involves several steps. First, identify your roles, such as parent, professional, friend, citizen, spouse, community member, and individual. Second, define your contribution in each role. What value do you want to add? What impact do you want to have? Third, write your core values and principles. What do you stand for? What won't you compromise on? Fourth, create your long-term vision. Where do you want to be in 5, 10, or 20 years? Fifth, combine everything into a concise mission statement that captures your essence. This mission statement becomes your compass for decision-making. When opportunities arise, you ask, does this align with my mission? If yes, pursue it with passion. If no, decline politely but firmly. When faced with difficult choices, you consult your mission statement. When other people try to pressure you into their agenda, you refer to your mission statement. This isn't about being inflexible or stubborn. It's about being principled and purposeful. Your mission statement should be reviewed and refined regularly as you grow and evolve. It's a living document that guides your decisions and shapes your character. Habit 3. Put first things first. Execute your vision. Having a vision is useless without execution. This habit is where the rubber meets the road. It's about translating your mission into daily actions and weekly priorities. Most people are excellent at urgent activities, but terrible at important activities. They spend their time fighting fires instead of preventing them. They're reactive instead of proactive. They're busy instead of productive. This habit teaches you to manage your time based on importance, not urgency. It's the difference between being efficient and being effective. Efficiency is doing things right. Effectiveness is doing the right things. Covey's time management matrix will revolutionize how you think about productivity. It has 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1 includes urgent and important items like crises, emergencies, deadline-driven projects, and pressing problems. This is the quadrant of crisis management. Quadrant 2 includes not urgent, but important items like planning, prevention, relationship building, learning, exercise, and personal development. This is the quadrant of personal leadership. Quadrant 3 includes urgent, but not important items like interruptions, some phone calls, some emails, and some meetings. This is the quadrant of deception because these activities feel important but aren't. Quadrant 4 includes not urgent and not important items like time wasters, excessive social media, mindless television, and trivial activities. This is the quadrant of waste. Here's the key insight that will transform your productivity. Successful people spend maximum time in quadrant 2. They prevent problems instead of constantly reacting to them. They invest in their relationships before they need something from others. They plan their work before they work their plan. They sharpen their saw before they cut the tree. Unsuccessful people spend most of their time in quadrants 1 and 3, with occasional escapes to quadrant 4. They're constantly in crisis mode, always putting out fires, never getting ahead of their problems. The goal isn't to eliminate quadrant 1 entirely, because some crises are unavoidable. The goal is to minimize quadrant 1 by maximizing quadrant 2. When you invest in prevention, planning, and preparation, you reduce the number of crises you face. Here's how to implement this revolutionary approach. Use weekly planning instead of daily planning. Daily planning is too limited and reactive. Weekly planning allows you to see the bigger picture and make strategic decisions. First, identify your roles: professional, personal, family, health, spiritual, and social. Second, set 2 to 3 important goals for each role. These should be quadrant 2 activities that align with your mission statement. Third, schedule these goals as appointments in your calendar. Treat them with the same importance as meeting with your most important client. Fourth, adapt daily based on circumstances, but never compromise your quadrant 2 activities. For example, regarding health, quadrant 1 is a heart attack, which is a crisis. Quadrant 2 is regular exercise, healthy eating, and stress management, which is prevention. Smart people invest in quadrant 2. When you focus on quadrant 2, you automatically have to say no to quadrant 3 and 4 activities. Remember, saying no to good things allows you to say yes to great things. It's not about time management, it's about priority management. Habit 4. Think win-win. Seek mutual benefit. Most people operate from a win-lose mentality. If you win, I lose. This scarcity thinking is deeply embedded in our competitive culture. We're taught from childhood that there are winners and losers, that success is a zero-sum game, and that someone else's success diminishes our own opportunities. This mindset is not only destructive to relationships, it's also factually incorrect. Win-lose thinking comes from a scarcity mentality that believes there are limited resources, limited opportunities, and limited success to go around. Therefore, your success threatens mine, and I must compete against you to get my share. Win-win thinking comes from an abundance mentality that believes there's enough success, resources, and opportunities for everyone. Your success doesn't threaten mine. It actually enhances the possibility of my success, because we can collaborate and create synergy. The 6 paradigms of human interaction will help you understand the full spectrum of possibilities. Win-win, where both parties benefit and feel good about the decision. Win-lose, where I win and you lose, which creates adversarial relationships. Lose-win, where I lose and you win, which creates resentment and martyrdom. Lose-lose, where both parties lose, which happens when win-lose. People interact with each other. Win, where I win and don't care about your outcome, which is independent thinking, and win-win or no deal, where if mutual benefit isn't possible, we agree that it's better not to deal at all. This last option is crucial because it maintains the integrity of the relationship even when you can't reach an agreement. Win-win requires high courage and high consideration. High courage means you stand up for your values, express your ideas, and advocate for your position. High consideration means you're empathetic, respectful, and genuinely concerned about the other person's needs and wants. Most people have either high courage with low consideration, which leads to win-lose, or high consideration with low courage, which leads to lose-win. The magic happens when you have both. You're strong enough to stand up for your principles and flexible enough to consider other perspectives. You're confident enough to express your needs and caring enough to understand their needs. Create win-win performance agreements instead of traditional job descriptions or expectations. These agreements include 5 elements. First, desired results, which clearly defines what you want to accomplish. Second, guidelines, which establishes the parameters and principles within which you'll operate. Third, resources, which identifies what human, financial, and technical resources are available. Fourth, accountability, which sets up the standards of performance and the time of evaluation. Fifth, consequences, which specifies what happens when you meet or don't meet the standards, both positive and negative. For example, in sales teams, instead of individual targets that create internal competition and politics, create team targets with individual recognition. This way, everyone wins when the team wins. People collaborate instead of compete, share leads instead of hoarding them, and help each other instead of sabotaging each other. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Master communication. This habit is the key to effective interpersonal relationships. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. They're either speaking or preparing to speak. They're filtering everything through their own paradigms, their own experiences, and their own biases. This creates massive communication breakdowns, misunderstandings, and relationship problems. We're too busy preparing our response, formulating our rebuttal, or thinking about our own experiences while the other person is talking. This isn't communication. It's just two people waiting for their turn to talk. Empathic listening means listening with the intent to understand the other person's perspective, feelings, and needs. It's about seeing the world through their eyes, feeling what they feel, and understanding their point of view. This doesn't mean you agree with them. It means you understand them. There's a huge difference. You can disagree with someone's position while still understanding their perspective. There are 5 levels of listening that most people never think about. First, ignoring, which means not listening at all. You're physically present, but mentally absent. Second, pretending, which sounds like, yeah, right, while you're thinking about something else. Third, selective, which means only hearing the parts that interest you or confirm your existing beliefs. Fourth, attentive, which means paying attention to the words being said. Fifth, empathic, which means understanding the emotions and meaning behind the words. Most people operate at levels 1 through 3. Good people reach level 4, but great people master level 5. Empathic listening skills require practice and patience. First, rephrase the content to ensure you understand what they're saying. For example, so you're saying that you feel the project timeline is unrealistic given the current resources. Second, reflect their feelings to show you understand their emotional state. For example, you seem frustrated with the lack of communication from management. Third, combine both content and feelings for deeper understanding. For example, you're disappointed that the project got delayed because you were counting on the bonus to help with your family's financial situation. Fourth, ask clarifying questions to ensure complete understanding. For example, help me understand what specific support you need to feel more confident about meeting the deadline. Here's a real example that illustrates the power of empathic listening. When a teenager says, "School is boring," most parents immediately respond with, "School is important. You need to focus on your studies. Education is the key to success." This response completely misses the opportunity to understand what the teenager is really saying. An empathic response would be, "You're finding school unstimulating. Tell me more about what's making you feel this way." This opens up a dialogue instead of shutting it down. You might discover that they're not being challenged. They're struggling with a particular subject, they're having social problems, or they're not seeing the relevance of what they're learning. Once you truly understand their perspective, then you can seek to be understood by presenting your viewpoint with credibility, which is your character and track record, logic, which is your reasoning and evidence, and emotion, which is your feelings and passion. Habit 6. Synergize. Create third alternatives. Synergy is the highest activity in all of life. It's the true test and manifestation of all the other habits put together. Synergy means the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. In mathematical terms, 1 plus 1 equals 3, or 10, or 100. It's creative cooperation that produces something that neither person could create alone. It's the essence of principle-centered leadership. Most people see differences as problems to be solved, obstacles to overcome, or threats to be eliminated. They want everyone to think like them, act like them, and see the world like them. This creates bland uniformity and missed opportunities. Synergistic people see differences as opportunities to create better solutions. They value different perspectives, experiences, and strengths because they know that diversity leads to innovation. There are 3 levels of communication that determine the quality of your relationships and results. First, defensive communication, which is characterized by fight or flight responses. People protect their positions, defend their ideas, and attack opposing viewpoints. This creates win-lose dynamics and adversarial relationships. Second, respectful communication, which is characterized by compromise and tolerance. People are polite, diplomatic, and considerate. They avoid conflict and find middle ground. This creates acceptable solutions, but not optimal ones. Third, synergistic communication, which is characterized by creative cooperation and breakthrough solutions. People openly share ideas, explore possibilities, and create new alternatives. This creates solutions that are better than what either person originally proposed. Here's how synergy works in practice with a simple but powerful example. A husband wants an adventure vacation with hiking, rock climbing, and whitewater rafting. His wife wants a relaxing vacation with spa treatments, fine dining, and peaceful surroundings. The compromise approach would be 3 days of adventure activities and 3 days of relaxation activities. Both people get half of what they want, but neither person is completely satisfied. The synergistic approach would be to explore creative alternatives that satisfy both people's core needs. After discussion, they might discover that they both want to connect with each other and escape from their stressful work lives. They might find a destination like Costa Rica that offers both adventure activities and luxurious spa resorts. Or they might discover a new alternative, like a wellness retreat that includes outdoor activities. The result satisfies both people's needs in ways they didn't originally consider. To create synergy in your relationships and teams, follow this process. First, define the problem or opportunity clearly. Make sure everyone understands what you're trying to solve or achieve. Second, listen to all perspectives without judgment. Encourage people to share their ideas, concerns, and suggestions. Third, brainstorm creative alternatives that go beyond the obvious solutions. Ask questions like, what if we approach this completely differently? Or, what would this look like if we had unlimited resources? Fourth, find solutions that satisfy everyone's core needs, not just their stated positions. Look for the underlying interests and motivations. In teams, hire people who complement your weaknesses rather than people who are similar to you. Diversity of thought, experience, and perspective creates the conditions for synergy. Habit 7, sharpen the saw. Continuous self-renewal. This habit is about continuous improvement and self-renewal in 4 dimensions of your life. It's about preserving and enhancing your greatest asset, yourself. Imagine a person who works frantically to saw down a tree. A passerby suggests that he stop and sharpen his saw, which would make the job easier and faster. The person replies, I don't have time to sharpen the saw. I'm too busy sawing. This is how most people live their lives. They're too busy producing to invest in their production capability. They're too busy working to invest in their ability to work. They're too busy living to invest in their capacity to live. This is not sustainable. Eventually, the saw becomes dull, productivity decreases, and burnout occurs. The physical dimension includes 3 critical areas: exercise, nutrition, and rest. Exercise doesn't require expensive equipment or gym memberships. It requires a minimum of 30 minutes of daily movement that gets your heart rate up, builds endurance, and maintains flexibility. This could be walking, running, swimming, cycling, dancing, or playing sports. The key is consistency, not intensity. Nutrition means eating foods that fuel your body rather than foods that drain your energy. This includes plenty of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats while limiting processed foods, sugar, and alcohol. It's about balance and moderation, not extreme diets or restrictions. Rest means getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night, taking regular breaks during the day, and allowing time for relaxation and recovery. Most people sacrifice sleep for productivity, but research shows that sleep deprivation actually decreases productivity, creativity, and decision-making ability. The mental dimension involves 3 key activities: reading, writing, and problem-solving. Reading expands your knowledge, exposes you to new ideas, and keeps your mind sharp. Read books, articles, and materials that challenge your thinking and broaden your perspective. Spend at least 30 minutes daily reading something educational or inspiring. Writing clarifies your thoughts, improves your communication skills, and helps you process your experiences. Keep a journal, write letters, create articles, or work on creative projects. The act of writing forces you to organize your thoughts and express them clearly. Problem solving keeps your mind active and engaged. Work on puzzles, play strategy games, learn new skills, or tackle challenging projects. The key is to continuously challenge yourself with new learning opportunities. The emotional and social dimension focuses on 3 critical areas: relationships, service, and empathy. Relationships are the foundation of happiness and success. Invest time in building quality relationships with family, friends, colleagues, and community members. This means spending focused time together, having meaningful conversations, and showing genuine interest in their lives. Service means helping others without expecting anything in return. Volunteer for causes you care about. Mentor someone who could benefit from your experience, or simply look for opportunities to help people in your daily life. Service gets you outside of your own problems and connects you to something larger than yourself. Empathy means understanding and sharing the feelings of others. Practice seeing situations from other people's perspectives, listening without judgment, and responding with compassion. The spiritual dimension includes 4 important practices: meditation, prayer, nature, and values reflection. Meditation doesn't require any religious beliefs or special equipment. It simply means taking time for quiet reflection, deep breathing, and mental stillness. Even 5 to 10 minutes daily can reduce stress, improve focus, and increase self-awareness. Prayer, for those who are religious, provides connection with a higher power and sense of purpose. For non-religious people, this could be time for gratitude, reflection, or connection with something greater than yourself. Nature provides perspective, peace, and renewal. Spend time outdoors, whether it's walking in a park, hiking in the mountains, or simply sitting in your backyard. Research shows that time in nature reduces stress, improves mood, and enhances creativity. Values reflection means regularly examining your principles, priorities, and purpose. Ask yourself questions like, what kind of person am I becoming? And am I living according to my values? The key to sharpening the saw is balance and consistency. Don't try to do everything at once. Start with small, manageable changes in each dimension and build gradually. Spend at least 1 hour daily on renewal activities, preferably in the early morning before your day gets busy. Also plan weekly renewal with deeper activities in all 4 dimensions. This might include longer exercise sessions, extended reading time, meaningful conversations with loved ones, or spiritual retreats. This isn't selfish. It's essential. You can't give what you don't have. If you don't renew yourself, you'll burn out and become ineffective. Think of it as preventive maintenance for your life. Just like a car needs regular maintenance to perform well, you need regular renewal to perform at your best. Implementation strategy and call to action. Now comes the most important part: implementation. Everything I've shared with you is worthless unless you take action. Knowledge without application is just intellectual entertainment. You can watch every self-help video, read every personal development book, and attend every seminar, but nothing will change unless you consistently apply what you learn. Here's the brutal truth. Most people will watch this video, feel inspired for a few days, and then return to their old patterns. Don't be most people. Be the person who takes action and transforms their life. Don't try to implement all 7 habits at once. That's a recipe for failure and overwhelm. The human brain can only handle a limited amount of change at one time. Instead, start with one habit that resonates most with you or addresses your most pressing challenge. I recommend starting with be proactive because it's the foundation for all other habits. You can't effectively implement the other habits until you take responsibility for your life and responses. Commit to a 30-day challenge focusing on just one habit. This gives you enough time to develop the neural pathways and behavioral patterns necessary for lasting change. Track your daily progress in a journal, smartphone app, or simple checklist. The act of tracking creates accountability and helps you see your progress over time. Write down your specific actions, challenges you faced, and insights you gained. This self-reflection accelerates your learning and helps you adjust your approach. Days 1 through 10 will require significant conscious effort. You'll need to constantly remind yourself to practice the new habit. You might feel awkward or unnatural at first. This is normal and expected. Days 11 through 20 will become easier as the new behavior starts to feel more natural. You'll still need to be intentional, but it won't require as much mental energy. Days 21 through 30 will become increasingly automatic. The new habit will start to feel like part of your identity rather than something you're forcing yourself to do. Once one habit is firmly established, move to the next. Don't rush this process. It's better to master one habit completely than to partially implement several habits. The recommended sequence is be proactive, which creates the foundation of personal responsibility. Begin with the end in mind, which provides direction and purpose. Put first things first, which enables effective execution. Think win-win, which creates the right mindset for relationships. Seek first to understand, then to be understood, which develops communication skills. Synergize, which enables creative collaboration, and sharpen the saw, which maintains and enhances your capacity for all other habits. Here's my personal challenge to you. Choose one habit right now, not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. Commit to implementing it for the next 30 days. Share your choice in the comments below because public commitment increases your chances of success. Find an accountability partner who will check on your progress and support your efforts. This could be a family member, friend, or colleague who is also committed to personal growth. Join online communities or local groups focused on personal development. Surround yourself with people who support your growth rather than people who discourage it. Remember Covey's powerful quote that captures the essence of this entire book. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Your life is not determined by your circumstances, your genetics, or your past. Your life is determined by your daily habits and choices. Every single day, you're either getting better or getting worse. There's no such thing as staying the same. If this video provided value to you, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell for more life-changing content. Share this video with someone who could benefit from these principles. The book link is in the description if you want to dive deeper into Covey's teachings. Remember, your future self will thank you for the decision you make today. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Start today. Stay consistent, and watch your life transform in ways you never thought possible. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.